What is going on, Stonebladers? We got a fun game up against this newer deck, which is still being like in the process of being brewed, editing, switched around, focusing on Leyline of Guildpact and Scion of Draco. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. I know some versions have like the Rhinos version, some are more stompy, kind of like the one I'm playing today, and this was a fun one, so let's talk about it. There were some really great spots that we just kind of wiggled my way out of, as Stoneblade usually likes to do, but I think you're really going to like it. Let's check it out. So on the play we're keeping here, perfectly fine hand. We have plenty of land. We have Stoneforge and the True-Name. We don't have any Force of Wills, but I'm not going to mulligan a perfectly keepable hand. Here I'm looking at playing Flooded Strand since I have two of them, and Prismatic Vista is going to be my favorite fetch land because it can get any of the basics, and here we are. So, in case you're not familiar with it, if it's in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. Each non-land permanent you control is all colors, and lands you control are every basic land type in addition to other types. So, the thing about this, if they start with it and they just play it, the only way to get rid of it, game one, is going to be to bounce it with Teferi and then counter it. Game two, we can actually bring in Red Blast and Blue Blast because it is blue and red, so that's a good thing to do. But nevertheless, once I realized we were on that, still going with the Flooded Strand here. This is not the type of game where you're going to be hard casting Lórien Revealed, so they did nothing here. So what I decided to do is fetch and get a Plains, and because of that I'll have Plains, and I can use that to get my island with Lórien Revealed. Then I'll have two other lands. I won't have to worry about them pretty much for the rest of the game. I wasn't sure if they played Wasteland or not. Like, this deck is still very new, but we're playing that island. We're playing Stoneforge, and here I'm going with Kaldra. So a couple questions about the Cryptic Coat. I love it. I'm pretty much almost always getting Kaldra. Just make them have removal is pretty much what I'm looking to do. Getting the 2-for-1, having removal. Can't always brainstorm it away if it's possible. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. So I don't mind having it getting quote-unquote stranded in my hand. It's funny, Lightning Bolt off plane, so in case you forgot, they can pretty much play anything with that. Which does get me later in game two. Because I'm like, I don't think they'll have this card, and then they had it. That type of thing, so let's see what they got here. Just tapping differently. Okay, so this is kind of the combo here. Because of this, it is First Strike, Hexproof, Lifelink, Trample, Vigilance, and Flying. So, like right here, I imagine a lot of people would probably quit here. There's not many ways to deal with this. So what you always want to do, assuming you're not going to be quitting because you don't want to give your opponent easy wins, you got to play it out like you would normally. There's not really much to do here. So we're going to be playing True-Name. So I'm going to be playing Flooded Strand as I talked about previously. Let's crack it for an island. In fact, I'd say the Flooded Strand might actually be better here since we drew our mountain because that can now get Tundra or Volk. So that actually changed up, but still, I don't mind. I don't think it's a huge deal here. So we're playing this, we're naming our opponent, and we are passing the turn. Okay, so here we are. Ponder, off of Bayou. It's a good one, a new one. We have Taiga. And this is another new one, so in case you're not familiar with it, I guess it has nice synergy. So it gets 5/5, and then whenever it attacks, you can discard a card if you do draw a card, or you can exile up to one target card from a graveyard. So just a 5/5 along with their 4/4, but it does have, is it Trample? Yes. So I'm going to be taking, even if I block, a good amount. Was that 9? Okay, well, spoiler alert, I'm going to be casting Brainstorm. That was a great draw. Like I said, we have Kaldra to remove, to get rid of, and we're obviously looking for specific cards here. Most specifically, Dress Down, and what do you know, we hit it. Oh, that's a start. Okay, we're going to inch our way back into this one. So, Kaldra is going back on top, and given the fact I have 3 Prismatic Endings, I don't mind having lands, because playing out lands is what Stoneblade needs. It's a very mana-hungry deck, so Kaldra, Prismatic. We're going to be playing this, and I don't think if I pondered, I would obviously crack here, but I'm going to have plenty of mana next turn, so I chose to attack here. So I can attack them for 3, or what I can do is block this, and then I'd be taking 8 instead of 9, so that 1 extra point of damage I didn't think was a huge deal. So that's why I went with that. Okay, they played another one. This is a perfect example of why you don't want to play your creatures before you attack. Although I didn't need to actually let it go through. But it's still not going to be a big deal. I don't mind taking that extra there. Because what I want to do here is go at the reason why I didn't play it there is because I want to play this at the end. When I play it at the end, that means it's going to extend into my turn, and that's when I can cast Ponder. So that's the big reason why I didn't cast Ponder, now that I remember that. So okay. Carry on. And they still aren't done. So like I said, more of just a stompy deck utilizing the ability to beef these up or whatever. So we want to make sure that we fetch first. And here, what we want to do is keep up, well, now I have 2 planes. I would say we want to keep up planes. Now we have to, because if we draw a Swords here, we can utilize that. Look at that, just like that. That was a 2 for 0. Oh, that's great. So this is perfect. So now this is just has free range. So what do we draw here? We are crawling back into it. Okay, there's not bad. We just need to get Prismatic Ending to 10 more colors, then we can knock this off. But we have a Ponder. This is what we want. Let's do it up. Ponder. Looking for swords. And oh my goodness, is that cheating or is that cheating? Look at that. Okay, so Kaldra's going on top, then swords. This is beautiful. And we have 2 Prismatic Endings as well. Let's get rid of this immediately before we forget. In case we misclick, whatever it is, that has to go. Let's get rid of the Noctowl. Haven't seen you since Zoo back in the early days. And let's attack. And I think I got so excited I might have forgotten to play a land. It is turn 5, and I don't think I missed a land any other turn. So, oops, silly of me. So I missed a land drop. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but it is what it is. If I don't draw a land next turn, then I guess it's not a big deal. I just can't hold up my Ambush Viper. No reason to play Snapcaster without it. So, okay, perfect. So what we want to do here, let's attack first. Remember all those times when people are like, well, if you played True-Name with Dress Down, well, I played True-Name, then I played Dress Down, and it worked out very well for me. We are bringing in the coat. There's not much that I want to hold up here, like Snapcaster into Swords. If they play any creature, like this or the other one, they're going to have hexproof, so we're going with damage here. Let's play the coat. And I do want to keep this open if for some odd reason I do want to cast an Ambush Viper, but most importantly if I want to cast Swords. So here's the first look at the Cryptic Coat. And what do we have behind door number 1? We have Kaldra. Did we know that? No, we fetched. I think we fetched and then it just happened to come back up again. Okay. And just like that, we are back into this game, but we are far from 1. We're at 4, they're at 27. Okay, that's perfect. That I can Prismatic Ending, so I don't want to worry about or needing to plow that. Okay, we're returning that. We're getting it going. Good. Okay, let's Prismatic Ending that. Let's see. I do believe I pondered here, because I still have enough mana for Cryptic. Okay, this is perfect. So we want Force of Will because, like I said, if they play another Scion, whatever that card was, and it sticks, we're pretty much done. So here we want to do Brainstorm, Back to Basics, and Force. Now also keep in mind, another thing is that if we do it that way and we play Cryptic Coat, we're going to be losing one of these cards. So despite the fact they have 2 non-basics here, I was thinking about them like, do I want Back to Basics or do I want to play it? Like, I have a feeling they might have more basic lands in there, especially for the fact that once they have their basic lands, they can just tap them for anything they want. So I didn't think Back to Basics was all that great. Maybe if both of these were tapped, I probably would have, but that was the choice I made. So we have Brainstorm, Back to Basics, and Force of Will in hand. Then we're going to play Cryptic Coat. Second main, of course. Okay. Perfect. So I haven't gotten the, like I said, use Cryptic Coat as much just because, like I said, I'm getting Kaldra most of the time. So this is kind of just a way to get rid of not a bad draw or just a card you don't want, which is good, a filtering way. Another way to filter your deck. So that's kind of cool. That worked out well there. We have Brainstorm up top too. Anything severely threatening is going to get Force of Willed. Back in the good old days where you don't fire off a Brainstorm unless needed. All right, let's do some math here. They're at 14, so this is 3, right? So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're dead in 2 turns. If I take this off and I play it again, let's see. That means there will be, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's still a 2-turn clock, so I just decided to keep it exactly how it was. I like keeping my mana open. I can hard cast Force if I want. I can, Snapcaster something. It just gives me more options that way. Okay, they're not doing anything, so that's perfectly fine. And they gave up. Just like that, that was a clutch. It was a clutch Brainstorm. It was a clutch Dress Down. And then I think after that, the Ponder to get the 2 swords. But we were in a really bad spot. We found our single out followed by a few more outs, and we managed to win that one. That one was a lot of fun. But let's go to the sideboarding. Like I said, I wasn't too familiar with this deck. I know people are still kind of messing around with it because this card is newer. But let's move on over to the halftime and check out what we can do for the sideboard action. All right, so not a lot going on here. Ironically enough, Dress Down is absolutely fantastic. That's going to be a way to turn on our swords should they have that annoying card in the beginning. Let's see. Didn't see many artifacts here. Yes, bring this in. I've talked about this previously. Any long and grindy game, I'm bringing this in. I feel like any control matchup I'm bringing it into, because a lot of the hate bears, the 2-drops, are all great to getting back in case they get discarded, destroyed, so on and so forth. Bringing in Hydroblast, because that's the way to kill their Leyline, bringing in Red Blast because that's a way to kill their Leyline. I'm pretty sure it's going to be that. So what I would taken out, what I should take out, what I might have taken out. So let's see. Narset doesn't seem all that great. Back to basics. Not going to be the angle I'm going to be attacking here. Okay, Spell Pierce. I think I kept those in. We want removal, Snapcaster Mage. So let's see. True-Name. I think Narset. I might have kept 1 in, to be honest. Let's see. I might have taken out Jace. Honestly, don't remember. This is more of one of those games where it's like you got to stop them in the beginning. And then, from then on, I'd be comfortable even if I took one of those out. It's really tough to say what the rest is going to be because a lot of these can be good or bad. I think Force of Will isn't all that great just because once they have the Leyline out, just kind of spitballing here, but I think it would be something like that would be overall what I would do. I think True-Name is good outside of those cards that they play. I mean, how many of them have Trample without the Leyline out there? So it can block, it can just do its thing. Spell Pierce, I'm not too sure what they're playing. Like that could definitely also be something to take out. In fact, I might have done that instead of the Force of Will. So I think that was the case actually. This is probably much better because we can just force any of those creatures that they want to play. So I think this is the better bet there. Maybe I had a Jason, maybe I didn't. Like I said, if I had more information about this deck, then it would have been, easier to figure out. But these are going to be the cards coming in. These are going to be the ones coming out overall. You can season it to your liking, change it around. But that's just a good idea of how I'm going about this game and give you a good idea in case you come across it. And like I just said, this deck also, when people are brewing with it or changing around, I know I have Rhinos in it as well. So Teferi is going to be a house in that. So nevertheless, those are my thoughts on sideboarding. Let's move to game numero doso. I really like this hand, and apparently I did keep my Spell Pierce in, so there's that. I'm not sure what it would have been used for. Can they hard cast the Leyline? I'm trying to think. Probably be difficult to do. Actually, probably wouldn't be given all the colors in it. So nevertheless, I'm going to keep this. We've got Island Ponder. We can Spell Pierce something if needed. Probably won't be doing that, and there's that. So they probably can play that, given the fact it's got all the double colors in that. So, okay. So right now we're looking at Teferi being able to bounce it or any of our 4 Red Blast. Okay, so we're pondering here, definitely. We need land. That's what we're looking for, just land. Okay, and this is really, really good. So I think we're going to do it exactly this way. So we already have a Teferi, so that's going on the bottom. We definitely want this for playing so we can play Stoneforge, and Force of Will is going to be in our hand in case we want to force something. I mean, it can't get any better than this. That was a very solid ponder. And let's take it back to the opponent. Like, Narset, I don't think they're drawing many cards in this, so probably take out 2 Narsets in this, maybe for a Jace. And let's see. Once this enters, it's going to have all those things we don't like, so this is going to be a Force of Will. And here, I probably would have pitched a Spell Pierce. I think I went with Narset. I kept up Spell Pierce. I just wasn't really sure what else I was going to be seeing, and that gets really good later game, as you've seen many times. Sometimes it isn't, but if you're patient with it, you can usually find a good spot. We're getting plains here. Stoneforge. I do have a Brainstorm, so that really, I mean, as if I wasn't getting Kaldra already. If they kill Stoneforge, we can always Brainstorm it away. Okay, so what do you have? Okay, that works. They're doing that too. Perfect, no follow-up. I like that. What do we have? Okay, well, I'm going with Brainstorm here, and we're looking for a fetch. A fetch is going to be fantastic. I mean, a land is the best. Okay, so Not the best, not the worst. We definitely want Kaldra on top, and then from there, I'm not sure if I did any differently. I would say probably Red Blast, because we're going to need that to get rid of this. And Teferi's also really good, so I would say this definitely on top, and then either Red Blast or Teferi. I don't think they're playing any discard, but given the fact they can play black cards, given the fact they have this, I don't know if they would throw that in there. So I'm putting Pyroblast on top of the Kaldra, that is. We're playing a land once we get going, and we're good. Perfect. Okay. Passing the turn. And I chose not to play Teferi. I felt like holding it up. I'm not sure why I didn't. Like, I could always... Oh, I think I know why. Bowmasters is why. I had a suspicion of that card, and if I played it, I wouldn't be able to... What's the word? I'm trying to do two things at once. Okay, never mind. Let's get back to Snapcaster. We need some mana, so let's do this. So we're going to see Kaldra, then we're going to see two others. Did I think they had Bowmaster? Like, let's brainstorm instead. So, like I said, I'm not sure why I did Teferi. Usually I like playing Teferi with protection. I think that's the reason why. But I went for this instead. That's fine. I do have plenty of removal. Okay, so we still don't have any lands, so we're in kind of a tight spot here. There was Kaldra and putting something else. There's like three things I'm trying to talk about at the same time, so let's just get back to basics here. We are Brainstorm locked, and what we're going to have to do here is plow the Orc army. So I chose not to do it here simply because if they have a Force of Negation and they hardcast it, which they, and they pitch cast it, which they have to, I can't Spell Pierce. So I waited until their turn to do it. And good thing they didn't play a land, otherwise I would have looked foolish if they had done that, so... Let's play swords. Let's get rid of this. We're in defense mode right now is exactly what we're doing. Okay, so I think all the decisions make more sense now. I didn't want to play Teferi without any type of backup, so if they had played Bowmaster, you know, I could always plow this and then bounce the token. Yes, that is why. And then I figured if nothing else was happening, I could play a Snapcaster Brainstorm. Not the worst in the world. We have a lot of removal and so on and so forth, so... Okay, we have another one. This is actually really good. So since they've seen that I have Dress Down in my deck, this would have been so much better if they played it on the main phase, because what would have happened there, I would have played it on main phase, gone to the end, this would have gone down. Now, given the fact it's at the end of turn, I am going to play this. Okay, and I didn't want to hold the plow here. I figured Spell Pierce would be better. I don't need to plow any of these right away. Actually, because they're not going to be playing... Actually, now that I think about that, probably should have held up Plains, because they could play one technically, since they know that I can't plow it now. So, nevertheless, live and learn. I think that time, yes, definitely Swords would have been better hold up. So they are Brainstorming here. They can't play that card that's immediately going to die to Dress Down, but they can play Scion, I believe. Okay. They can play that too. That's completely fine. So we're taking two here. We are trying to wiggle our way out of this just like the first game. It's interesting seeing this. Like I said, I haven't seen this since Zoo was popular and Stoneforge Mystic was super popular as well. So I think this is the biggest thing right here. I think the key to also beating this is the first and only time I played against this, is just get rid of this. Because once they get rid of this, all their other creatures are kind of not that big of a deal. So I decided to fetch Mountain here after I did that, of course. And we're going to use Red Elemental Blast on it just because that's the weaker one. Power Blast, you can target anything, but I'm not playing Flusterstorm to get like that extra damage off of it, and I did pull out that too. Keeping Spell Pierce up if needed. Okay, so these are still chipping away. Not much I can do here. Alright, so that's really good. I still don't want it to Teferi. I mean, I just bound something, I get pinged, and no bueno. So, going Stoneforge here. And we're getting Batterskull. Batterskull is great when you're low on life and you're on your back foot on defense. I could get Cryptic Coat, but not too huge on that at the time. Okay, so end of turn, not much going on here. Alright, this is really good. So, there's a few... I was hoping for a land there, but nevertheless. So we could play Sevinne's Reclamation, and that's actually not too bad, because when you consider it, we tap 3, we get Stoneforge back. That gives us another equipment, which even if we don't play it, it pitches the 4. So I like Sevinne's right here, keeping up red, so we have Pyroblast and Spell Pierce. So I'm going with this. Like, I could play Teferi and just use it as a tick up, but this is pretty good as a blocker. And this was, like I said, I talked about before, another great... I play Stoneforge so many times, now having Sevinne's in here is just another way to bring it back. So there's been so many times where if you play Stoneblade, you just exhaust your equipment only having 2. So being able to get that extra card is a pretty big deal, especially in these late games. They have 2 cards, about to have 3, and I have 7. So that's always good. This I am easily Force of Willing, pitching Spell Pierce. Thank you for serving your purpose, Spell Pierce. You've been great. And 2 cards, and... okay. You got me. Alright, I need a land here. We need a land. We're looking for a land here. Down to 4. Once damage goes through. Okay, so... land, 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 land. Perfect. Okay, so let's play that and think about our options. So... what we can do here is a lot of things. There's Cryptic Coat and Bounce if needed. It's an option, right? We have Teferi, not so great. We have Batterskull, and of course we have Sevinne. So if we play Sevinne's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can get Stoneforge. We can also get Snapcaster, but we can't get full value out of it. And I figured if for some odd reason, if they do have a Force of Will, have we seen any? I don't think they've seen any Force of Wills out of them. So I think the best thing here is going to be Batterskull, just because I can bring it in and I can just stonewall them. And if they don't kill it, I can block and get some more life out of this. So fetching this, I believe I got red here, given the fact I do have Pyroblast in here. And we are going with Batterskull. Perfect. So we have to dodge removal once. And even if we do dodge it, I don't think it's the worst in the world. We have some options here. We definitely have a lot of options. Okay, that's fine. So this is just going to be a 5/5. Whenever it attacks, exile the card from a graveyard. That's fine. Because we have ways to deal with that. And we just found a much easier way to deal with that. That is perfect. So, as you can see, I'm tapping an island. Let's get rid of this. And let's attack. And what do you got? Nothing, 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 nothing. I'm sure they would have played removal if they already had it, right? Perfect. So, here what I want to do... we can play Cryptic Coat. I think Teferi is the best here. Why play Teferi? Because when we tick up, we can keep Volk up or Mountain, either or, for the world's most obvious blast, right? When you're keeping just a basic Mountain up. And we don't need to draw a card, so we don't want to get pinged by Bowmaster and make our lives worse. So let's do that. And let's tick up, because if we tick up, next turn we can play this Sorcery Speed, and we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. And if we get one more, we can really do some fantastic stuff from our graveyard. So this is where we pretty much are stabilizing, turning the corner, maybe 1 or 2 turns. Oh, and then they get this. Okay, not the worst in the world. But here's the question. Do you attack Teferi or do you attack the life total? And they chose Grandmaster Tef. Grandmaster Tef it is. Okay, you got it. To 3. Land, land, land. Any land. It doesn't matter. I don't have any tap lands. I don't have any... yes! Okay, we're ticking up. Okay, so there's a few things we can do here after playing our land. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No Kaldra, nor would I want to play that. We can do Cryptic Coat, bounce stuff. I really think the best thing here is Sevinne's Reclamation. And given the fact we just ticked up, we don't have to use it right away. This is another big reason why I love Teferi. It just gives you that protection against anything at instant speed. I mean, especially with this, look at what we have in the graveyard too. We have Stoneforge for a blocker. We have Snapcaster. And because we have Snapcaster, we also have Plow and pretty much Red Elemental Blast. If we want to use that, we haven't seen much. And like I said, since we're doing it at instant speed, I think we're going to be good to go. Let's pass the turn. Let's see what they want to do. Let's make them make the first play so we can react to it and find the best cards that we need. And it looks like they're doing nothing. This is perfect. 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 So here I cracked Flooded Strand for Tundra. I want to leave that up because ideally I want to get a Swords here. That's what I want to keep up. Because I'm not worried about red blasting anything. If anything comes down, I can always get rid of it next turn. So tapping everything but Tundra here. And we're casting Savines. That allows us to obviously cast. So let's go with, we have Snapcaster first, and then we are copying it. And then we are getting, let's see. Come on. Where's the other cast? Then we're getting Stoneforge for the block. So this is the 4th Stoneforge I've played. And yeah, now I finally have no other equipment. I just did this to take a look at what else I had. And then they gave up after that. So what we would have done there is blocked here, would have cast. In fact, I probably could have let it go. No, I think I would have, what's it called, swords that. I mean, I have 2 more on there. Better off doing that. And that was that game. That was a lot of fun. Like I said, a slightly newer deck. So there's a lot of different elements and changes and cards that you might see in this. But if you do see it, like I said, getting rid of this, I think this is like the main beehive. This is the glue to their deck. So when you get rid of this, it makes playing against it much easier overall. At least that's what I found this one time playing this. Haven't played against it any other time. So that was that game against the Leyline of Guildpact / Scion of Draco deck. Stoneblade tops it off in 2 interesting matches. With the first one, we came back, found the minimal outer to a few more outers, and it just snowballed, and we ended up taking that one. This one, we were on our back heels towards the end, and we managed to wiggle our way out of it, which was an overall very fun match. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Another one for the good guys, and I'll see you soon, hopefully.